Well, hello everybody. As you know, I picked a bunch of peppers out of the garden, and they're not very big, not as big as the ones you get in the store because of the heat got on them. As the temperature cools down though some, my peppers will grow a little bit bigger. I've got more out on the plants, but they're not ready to pick yet. I picked whatever I could pick, and then I went to Walmart and bought 5 big green bell peppers, because you need green, red, whatever color. And you know, since I have orange and yellow, green, red in the garden, that's what I'm using. But first of all, we got to wash them. Now some of these have got bad spots on them, but it's from the sun. The sun got so hot. But I had put a bunch in the freezer, and I wanted to do something else with these, and I usually fix pickled relish every year. But a lot of times I make it out of my green tomatoes, which is basically chow chow. But I put a lot of green tomatoes in my pickled relish as well. But I'm only going to fix like half a recipe. Because this full recipe calls for 12 green bell pepper and 12 red ones. And like I said, I didn't have that many peppers, and I didn't want to buy that many. So I mean, these will do. I got me a little and I'm back to wiping again. Put that right there, and that's what I'm going to put my peppers in. And when I chop them, I'm just going to put them right down in here. But you got to get the seeds out. I mean, if you leave 1 or 2, that's okay, but basically you want the seeds out of these. But I wanted to and I keep dropping my bell peppers down in my compost here. But I think the best way to get the seeds out of them is just cut them in half like this, and then just cut that seed pod right out of them. And it doesn't hurt if you've got 1 or 2 seeds in there. That's okay. But you do, you know, you can try to get them all out if you can. I love homemade pickle relish. Well, this is pepper relish, bell pepper relish, because it's not going to be hot. It's going to be kind of like the pickle, you know, the cucumber relish you buy at the store. That's what it's going to be similar to. And it's really good. But you make it with bell peppers and onions. Now I'm just going to quarter them up. Put them in the food processor or blender, whatever you have on hand that you can chop them up a little bit with. Ah. Yeah, and I picked another handful of okra today. So I guess I might have okra tomorrow with whatever I cook. Here, I can put this over here so I'm not turning my back to you constantly. I don't like this light right here, but there's not a whole lot I can do about it. Getting all them seeds out. And you want to do this in small batches, and I forgot to get my colander out. Oh. Man. You don't want to cut it up too bad or too much. Looking down in there to see how it is. Oh, I'm going to need that. But that's going to be a pretty pickle relish because it's going to have the gold and the red, the yellow, the green. It's going to be like Christmas. I love it when I can make cowboy candy, pickle relish, or chow chow, and you have all the pretty colors in there. Okay, let's get this back on here. And you're just going to put them in a colander like that. So whatever liquid is in there will drain out. Because you'll have, we're going to be adding liquid. So you can just cut that seed pod right out of the center. Dump those seeds right out. Now the whole recipe says it'll make 6 pint jars, but that's 12 of those big green peppers and 12 red ones. You know, and I don't have that big, I don't have those big ones except for the ones I bought at Walmart earlier. And the ones I got out of the garden. So, well, I wanted you to see what I'm doing here. I don't want to... I got my canner going. I just wanted to keep the jars warm, hot. And keep my water hot. So I don't have to wait so long to, you know, do that part of it. But it's going to be pretty. Be pretty colors. And you know, if you freeze part of your peppers, you can save them up. And then when you get enough to do this, you could always take them out and put them in your relish or whatever you're going to put them in. You know, your recipe. But I haven't had that many peppers this year. I didn't have any jalapenos. I've got a few Hungarian Russian hot peppers, but for some reason, the pepper seed that I planted of the jalapeno didn't do very well. I haven't got any jalapeno peppers, and I haven't tried to plant anymore. Next year I will. I probably could have put more in that first batch than what I did. But it's kind of best to do them in a small batch. And just keep doing, you know, several batches to chop them up. Because you don't want to make them too small. You don't want to leave them too big. Well, you know what pickled relish looks like. That's what you want them to look like. Let's see. I'm going to put another orange one in there. Yeah, my son said the doctor told him he was eating too much spicy food, so I didn't want to plant a whole bunch of jalapenos because I knew I wouldn't be eating that many of them. And since he needed to cut down on some of them, you know, he didn't need to be eating a bunch of them either. So and you're going to need about 6. Well, the whole recipe calls for 6. Like I said, I'm doing half a recipe. So I've got about 5 or 6 jars over here of different sizes that I'm going to be using. And I'm going to have them on hand just in case I need them. Because I don't know how many of these jars, what I've got here, is going to fill up. So... forgot to even take that out, so I wonder if it hadn't fell out. Yeah, it's going to be pretty. I just don't know how many jars I'm going to have. I think I'm going to be lucky if I have 3 jars. Pint jars, that is. And I may go with smaller jars. A couple of them. Because, you know, if I open a jar of pickled relish, a pint jar is going to last me a long time. If I'm the only one here eating it. Okay, get on here. Now, if I find out I've got any big pieces in here, see, like that, I'm going to put them back. Because I don't want great big chunks. But I don't want it cooked, chopped up to nothing either. I want them to be some kind of texture to them left. I'm going to have seeds everywhere in my kitchen. Everywhere. I probably should have did this on the table. I think the light would have been a little bit better. It wouldn't have glared so on me. But oh well, I got started here, so we'll continue on. Put in the comments if you've ever made a pickled relish. Either out of cucumbers or bell peppers or tomatoes or any of that. I made relish out of cowboy candy. You know, that was nothing but jalapenos. I made the cowboy candy and the cowboy candy relish. All of it. And like I said, I use my cowboy candy as a seasoning. Basically, some people like to take it out and put it on their hamburgers or hot dogs, just like they do any pickle relish. I couldn't do that because it's too hot. I got a good deal on the green bell peppers. The red peppers cost a little bit more than the green ones. The green bell pepper were only, I think it was 54 cents a piece. And the colored peppers, the red, the orange, the yellow and all that were more. You had to buy those by the pound. So I don't know what the difference was. I don't even know what the pounds were on these 5 peppers that I bought. But it was the green ones I needed because, the ones I got out of the garden were all the different colored ones. Okay, let's I got too much in there, I guess, this time. Yeah, I got too much in there this time. So I'll have to put a few of those pieces back in. And try not to fill it up so full next time. And I did see a couple of big pieces. They're going to go back in the, like that one. Yeah, don't do like I did and fill it so full that it won't chop it up. I had not ever had it that full, so I was just testing it. But it does better when you get smaller batches. It did pretty good though. Most of it got chopped up. And it doesn't matter what order I put them in there because they're going to go in the pot and they're going to get all mixed up anyway. So I just wanted to show you how it was going to be. It looks real Christmassy. And you're also going to need about 3 medium good size onions. Now if you're going to do the whole recipe, it calls for 7 onions. But I'm only doing basically half of it. Something like that. So this is a little one. Little bitty orange pepper or gold pepper. Yeah, I've been putting this off trying to fill my bowl full of peppers, and I said, well, if I don't pretty soon do it, I'm going to have to freeze my peppers because they're not going to be any good to do anything with if I just leave them sitting on the counter. So I said, I'll just break bad and buy me a couple of peppers to go with it. Yeah, go with what I had. Big difference in these store-bought peppers than mine. But hey, my peppers are good. They're edible, and that's what I care about. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do this batch because I don't want to get too many in there. You saw what happened when I got it too full. I tell you, when you got a food processor or any type of a blender, like a Ninja or any of it, you know, I've got a Ninja too that I use, that I've just about wore it out. And then my son and daughter-in-law gave me this for Christmas. Year before last, I think. Last year they gave me the what was it? Mixer. The year before they gave me this blender. Yep. I want to plant more onions, not just the Egyptian walking onions. I want more regular onions, like the red onions and the yellow ones, like I'm chopping up here. Because the only onions I got left, I got a couple of red ones in the bottom of this bowl. And I even bought a couple of the yellow onions. Because, you know, it calls for either yellow onions or the white ones. And to get as much onion as I would need, I'd have to pull up most of my Egyptian walking onions. And I didn't want to pick up, all, you know, get all those. I mean, of course, I've got plenty of them, but it's really not the kind of onion that this recipe calls for. I don't believe I washed that and still had the tag on my pepper. Ah! Y'all, I'm dropping my peppers in the floor. Where'd it go? No. Wash it off. It's still good. I'm going to get all of these in here this time. I know these peppers will shrink a little when they're cooked, and that's what we're going to do. But it's just hard to imagine that 12 of these big peppers and or actually 24 big peppers, because if you got the different color ones like they wanted you to, you'd have 12 red ones and 12 green ones. Take that off for right now. Now I gotta do my onions. And I do have a handful of Egyptian walking onions that I'm gonna use. I just had to put me some of them in there. That'll make up one onion right there. So I'm just going to use 2 of these. And thank goodness I don't have to chop these up. I am going to put them in there and do just like I did the peppers. Cut that thing in quarters. Whew. Just that little bit, and my eyes are burning, y'all. Just that little bit. Whew. Those are strong. Oh. You take the lid off of there and it'll take your breath. Oh my goodness. Woo. I'm just going to dump them right in here with my chopped up peppers. Woo. Goodness, y'all. I'm glad I didn't have to stand there and chop them. Ooh, my eyes are burning. Oh my goodness. Whew. Y'all, Lord have mercy. My eyes are killing me now, and I didn't even chop it up. I just threw it in the blender, in the food processor. Oh. But it's a little bit better. Get this other one cut up. Oh my goodness. Now last year, the year before, I think I made a whole recipe because I had plenty of peppers. I made a whole recipe of the cowboy candy because I had plenty of jalapenos. Oh my God. I had so many jalapenos, I didn't know what to do with them. Whew. Thank goodness I didn't have to hand chop those things. That'd be a lethal weapon, y'all. Oh my gosh. Oh. Y'all, they're killing me. I'm finding onions. And those were the Egyptian walking onions, y'all. Boy, it's a colander full. It's gonna be a pot full. It will be a pot full. I always forget to hold this thing. It is so powerful it'll jump off the counter. My Ninja one is not that way. I mean, it's powerful, but it doesn't jump like this one does. And I always forget to hold it. Whew. I don't even want to take the lid off. Oh my goodness, y'all. Help me. Help me here. Oh, I'm crying. Oh. I had to step back and let some of those fumes go somewhere else. Oh. Y'all, help me here. I can't handle this. My allergies and this, whoa, this onion. Oh my goodness. Now the only purpose of putting them in the colander is to try to drain some of the, some of the excess liquid out before you put it in the pot. Oh, I gotta get my pot. I thought I already had it, but I didn't. I'm hoping this pot will hold it. Lord have mercy. My nose is running. My eyes are, I'm crying. Those are some strong onions. And I'm going to move the camera. Okay, I'm back. I think my eyes have recovered. Now we're going to add just plain white sugar. I'm going to put in about 1.5 cups. There's one. It's about a half. That out of my way. Now we're going to have 1.5 cups of white vinegar. So if you want to fix the whole recipe using 24 peppers, your choice of color. It says actually though 12 red ones and 12 green ones, but you saw I had a multiple color of them. Now we're also going to put in a tablespoon of pickling salt. It's low sodium. Can't leave any sugar out here. I'll be eat up in the morning by ants if I do. Now I'm going to put a full tablespoon of this pickling salt. That's pretty much it. You got your sugar, your vinegar, and your pickling salt. That's pretty much the ingredients you need. Now we're going to turn it on, bring it to a boil. And those peppers and onions, it's not the peppers, it's the onions are still working on me, y'all. My nose is running. Oh. And I know I got peppers and onions on this spatula, but that's okay. But what we're going to do is we're going to bring this mixture to a boil and then reduce the heat and let it simmer. For about 30 minutes. Let's see, no, come on. I'm going to stir this up and then I'm going to add my peppers and onions. Oh. I should have put my peppers and onions in there first. I don't want them to splatter on me. I'm going to make a mess, y'all. You know it. It's made a pot full. I don't think I'll have to add more vinegar or anything. Now we're going to bring this to a boil and then turn the heat down and let it simmer for about 30 minutes. Because you know there's some of the liquid going to come out of the peppers and get into that vinegar as well and that sugar. And we don't want it real watery because this is not pickles, it's going to be pickle relish. But I wanted to mix up the vinegar and the sugar and all that first, because it's easier to mix it up than it is until, you know, you put your peppers in there and your onions. I've got stuff all over that. Now, while I'm waiting for this to come to a boil, I'm going to get my jars out. I've been keeping them in the canner to keep them hot. And like I said, I may not need all these jars, but I like to have extra just in case. And I may need even more than this, I don't know. But if I have a few extra here, that's good. At least I'll have enough jars to put them all in. See, this is my size pickle jar and relish jar. Or one like this. With just one person eating it. Ho, ho, ho. Yeah, it's always good to get your pickling salt, your sugar, and your vinegar mixed up real good. And I could have, if I'd have just thought about doing it, I could have put it in some other kind of container and mixed it up. And then had my peppers and onions in the pot already. And just poured the liquid in. But leave it to me to do it backwards, y'all. Just drop my paper towel. Yeah, by the time these cook for about 30 minutes on, you know, simmering, they haven't come to a boil yet. Taste that. You know what? I think it needs a little bit more vinegar. Just a little bit, not much. About a half a cup more vinegar. Okay, let's get this to a boil. I think I'll survive my onions. My eyes are kind of calmed down. Kind of calmed down a little bit. They're not burning as bad. Quite as bad as they were. Get my timer back here. And when it comes to a boil, you want to cut the heat down a little bit to a simmer, but then you want to stir it frequently. You don't want to just walk away and leave it for 30 minutes. You want to stir it occasionally. Like now it's trying to boil. But we're going to go ahead and it's coming to a boil. I see it starting to bubble up in there. So we're going to let it simmer for 30 minutes and I'll come back. Well, the timer went off, y'all. So we can turn this off the heat. Give it a good stir. I've kept my water hot in my canner here. Turn that up a little bit. Now what I'm going to do is get my jars. And I put some paper towel down on my counter. And I'm not sure how I want to scoop this, maybe like this. Ooh, got too much in there, I think. No, that's good. I want to leave about a ½ inch to an inch of head space up here. I wanted to fill these up before I put the lids on them because I don't know if I need to add liquid to each one or not. That might be a little bit much in that one. I don't want to get them too full. Here, I could have put a spoonful in that one. I want my jars full, but I don't want them too full. This little plastic tool is about the handiest thing I've used in my kitchen, I believe. Well, I got several handy things, but now I'm just going to poke down in here and get some of the air bubbles out. I think I got a little bit much in this one. Want a little bit more liquid in there. Now, what I'm going to do, yeah, that's good. Get a clean paper towel, or you can use a dish towel, dishcloth, whatever, and just wipe anything off of the rim. Oops, that's the wrong one. Put your lid on. And I'm putting it right down in my canner. Woo, that's hot. Ah, I have to hold it with this paper towel. There's always air bubbles that get down in there. So if you just take something and kind of do it around, poke it down, the air bubbles will come out. Woo. I don't know if I can fill that up or not, maybe. We'll try. Some of them air bubbles out of there. And I want some of the liquid at the top. There. Hot is hot. Y'all, I'm gonna get. They must have been talking little bitty peppers. Because they were saying that you only would get 6 pint jars of pepper relish out of 24 peppers. So they would have to be awfully small ones. Small ones like I use, basically. Not the big ones that come from Walmart. Huh. That's a little full. I got too much liquid in that. I want them full, but I don't want them over full, if you know what I'm saying. See if I can get a little bit of liquid out of this. Put in there. And I had just a spoonful over, so I think I did good. I think I did good, y'all. Whoa. It's hot. Okay, y'all, I got 5. I've got 3 pints, one that's like almost a pint, and then I got this big one. But I do need to get more water in there because I don't have enough water in my canner right now. Man, ants would go crazy with all this. Oh. Run some water till it's hot, and then I'll add it to my canner. You definitely don't want to pour cold water in there at this point. because you want hot water all the way up to the tops of your lids. That's a lot of water to get boiling. Because preferably you want it over the top of your lid. Now I'm going to turn my heat up. And get that boiling. Once I get it boiling, I'm going to boil it for 10 minutes. But you got to bring it to a boil and then boil it for 10 minutes with the lid on. And we'll bring you back when I get that done. Well, my timer went off at 10 minutes of my pot boiling. Whew, it's still boiling. I moved my canner out here to the front burner because I learned with it on the back burner I keep hitting the hood overhead, and I'm afraid one of these days I'm gonna hit a jar so hard that I'm gonna drop it and end up breaking it or something on my stove, and I don't want to do that. But they've processed for 10 or 11 minutes, so it took forever for that pot to get up to boiling because it's so big. Oh, let me turn this off. Listen to them popping. They're already popping, y'all. You hear the pop? And I put a glass bowl in the middle because my dishwater cooled off a little bit. I'm afraid that bowl's going to crack. It's good. But I've got a rubber wheel in the bottom that goes in the bottom of the canner, and it expands, or it'll, you know, go in, retract or whatever. And I found if I put that little bowl in the middle of it, it stretches it out and it fits this canner perfectly. Otherwise, I've got a little space at the edge where the jars don't sit up straight. So look, now, all I'm going to do now is just let those cool off. And pop the top. This one, and this one already has. This one and this one, I'm still waiting for that to do its thing. And if it doesn't seal, then I'll have to put it back in the canner and let it work again. The only thing I don't like about putting stuff in the canner is if, you know, we do have chemicals in our city water. And when you boil your jars in there, they come out with like a dusty film on them from the chemicals that are in the water. And I hate to show them on camera like that because sometimes it makes them look dirty. But I can't bother them right now. Later, when they cool down, I'll take a wet cloth and I'll wipe them off and get all that hazy look off of them. But there you go, y'all. There is my pepper jelly. Not pepper jelly. Pepper relish. My bell pepper relish. Sweet pepper relish right there. Y'all should try the recipe. It's really easy. I mean, it's a real simple recipe. It just takes time, is the thing. It takes time to get it done. But it's well worth the wait. If I could hold one of these up. I don't know if you can see. Well, they look good. You know, I think it's well worth it. That is all the relish I'll be eating all winter. And I'll probably give a jar or two to my son, and I still have plenty for myself because, you know, I don't eat that much sweet pepper relish. 2 or 3 jars will last me all winter. Till next summer when I'll make it again. And I still may end up with a lot more peppers. Once our weather cools off a little bit, my pepper plants will really start producing then. My tomatoes will too again. So I'm liable to end up with enough tomatoes, green tomatoes this year to fix chow chow, I hope. But anyway, there you go. There's sweet pepper relish. Sweet bell pepper relish, y'all. Homemade. Can't beat it. We'll see you on the next one. Love y'all. Bye.